Cześć, tutaj Jordan Forrester, a to jest ponownie The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, czyli przypowieść o Staśku. Więc, trochę...
All his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Cicho. Ostatnio, w ogóle też, przepraszam, że tak długo nie było odcinka ze Stanley Parable, ale po pierwsze, czerwiec mam zapierdolony cały, ponieważ a tu Pyrkon, a tu jeszcze jedna rzecz, a tu jeszcze kolejna rzecz. Mówię, tydzień jutro gdzieś znowu jadę, więc czerwiec mam po prostu zapchany i dlatego nie było tutaj, że tak powiem, filmów. Wiem, że te przerwy są takie co tydzień, ale serio, nawet na głównym kanale nie miałem zbytnio czasu, żeby cokolwiek wrzucać i cokolwiek robić, bo tak jestem zajęty ostatnio, więc przepraszam, ale mam nadzieję, że teraz że jak to już wszystko minie, jak to wszystko się uspokoi, to będę w stanie nagrywać więcej filmów, że tak powiem. Mam dzisiaj w planach nagrać 3 filmy z 3 różnych gier, więc no. Więc życzcie mi powodzenia. Nie wiem, kiedy one wrócą, w sensie nie wiem, kiedy wrzucę te odcinki, ale dzisiaj nagram 3 odcinki, albo 4. Choćby mnie miało skręcać w środku i jakby miał padać, jakby te odcinki były tak zamulone, że nie da się ich oglądać. Nie, nagram sobie dzisiaj 4 odcinki i zrobię to. Dobra, ale wracając i gadając o grze. Nowy content. Nowy content. Hurra!
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Okej, więc tutaj ostatnio skończyliśmy. To zakończenie, pamiętam to zakończenie z tym nowym contentem. O Jesus, to było trochę creepy. I nie wiem, czy ja chcę... Mam trust issues po tym zakończeniu. Nie chcę z powrotem narratora, wiecie, sprawić, że zrobi się kuku. Więc lecimy! Mam nadzieję, że to nie była niemądra decyzja. Mam straszną nadzieję, że to nie była niemądra decyzja. W ogóle wczoraj wróciłem z Pyrkonu. Tutaj macie dowód. Patrzcie, wczoraj byłem na Pyrkonie. Wczoraj wróciłem z Pyrkonu. I dostałem nawet taką, patrzcie, zajebistą kostkę przy odbiorze biletu. Ja ostatnio żyję tylko Pyrkonem, ponieważ, spoiler, wczoraj byłem na Pyrkonie, like I said, możecie sobie sprawdzić na moim Instagramie, ja mam tam pierdalną relację wyróżnioną z tego, 100 kafelków zrobiłem, i nie spodziewajcie się, jeśli w tych 4 filmach będę pierdolił tylko o Pyrkonie, ponieważ to był mój pierwszy konwent w życiu i strasznie się nim jaram, nawet jak wróciłem z niego. Dobra, wchodzimy. Gdzie mnie poniesiesz, narratorze?
Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2.
Nie wierzę! Serio? Oh, ten mem.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Cześć, tutaj Jordan Forrester, a to jest The Stanley Parable 2. Kuźwa. Serio, nie wiesz, że oni faktycznie to zrobili. Wiecie, bo ten mem z tym, że daje się 2 po czymś, to jest straszny mem, więc jak to w ogóle brzmi nawet The Stanley Parable 2. O, telefon! Hello, hello, hello! Patrząc na te 2 telefony, a raczej na ten po prawej, dostaję takie średnio przyjemne flashbacki z pewnych lat. Z takiej...
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Chyba tylko dla ciebie, stary. O, tutaj... Łeee! Nie ma po polsku 2, chujowe. To jest the sequel. O, tu mogę wejść? I guess, że nie. To co my tu mamy? Halo? Czy jest tu coś do roboty? Bo się trochę nudzę, więc... Więc no. To jest nasze nowe biuro, czy... Przepraszam. Wypuśćcie mnie! Czy się wjebałem? 2 doors. Ej, ale te plakaty są actually zajebiste. Old busted, new hotness. Cool red section of the chart. Kurwa, humor w The Stanley Parable to jest własne, to jest stan umysłu, to jest własne entity. Win-win. The color red. Leverage holistic value. Ej, bo mnie taka naszła. Ej, to byłby zajebisty plot twist, gdyby to się okazało miejscem narratora, co nie? Ej, że jak tutaj, że tutaj po prostu... Że to jest biuro narratora i na tym wielkim ekranie on ogląda poczynania Staśka. To by było zajebiste w sumie. To by było actually zajebiste. Tu coś są nawet różne loga The Stanley Parable. Z racji do sentymentu to, w sensie, oczywiście ten sentyment zostaje i przez sentyment to logo będzie najlepsze. Bo tak. Ale personalnie z tych wszystkich tutaj to mi się podoba to o. Jest takie fajne, krótkie, przyjemne. To 2 nie jest takie przesadzone. Ale styl, to jest lepsze. Aha. To ta roślinka niesławna. I... Przepraszam. To fajnie, tylko że gdzie teraz? A tędy. O! 2 Stanley'ch! Ej, to jest actually clever. Żeby 2 zamienić na pytajnik. To jest actually clever.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
I see. Meeting plan. Design pitch. Break number 2 chat. Co? Kto wziął czerwone marker? Ja! Napisane czerwoną. Oh, the end is never the end. again. O. Co? The prequel to the Stanley Parable. 2 is the sequel to... The Stanley Parable is the prequel to the Stanley Parable. 2 is the sequel to the Stanley Parable. Is the prequel to the Stanley Parable. To ostatnie nie robi sensu. Ale układa się w 2, więc jebać. O. Dwójka. Cudownie. This way to the show floor. New features. Czuję się jak taka gwiazda na czerwonym dywanie. Chyba jak na premierze jakiś Oscar. O! Nowy Mogę wejść? Hej, mogę się przejechać? Może tu jakoś wejść? Nie wiem. Bo tutaj widzę... Tu są różne autobusy. Okej. Aha, że tędy można przejść, dobra. Nie można pojechać autobusem. Really? W ogóle zabawne, że nikt na mnie nie czeka, w ogóle wszystko jest dla mnie tylko... What? Zaraz, halo?
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
O, to wiadro, co... Ej, to jest to wiadro, co było na 50 miniaturkach. Ej, dobra, zanim to... The heck is this? Hear your name in the game. W sensie ja nie wiem, gdzie ja mogę wejść, żeby nie zostać odciętym od świata. Więc... Wait! Zaraz, Czy to jest Stanley? Zaraz, collectibles? Can you find them?
Collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Okej, mogę już wyjść? Mogę? Okej, widzę, że ja... Co to jest? Co te wszystkie figury... A to jest figurka... O ja pierdolę, ej, to jest... O Jezu Chrystusie... Ale fajna w ogóle. Jej! Stanley, figurka Stanleya. Okej, mogę już wyjść? Dziękuję, nie pozdrawiam.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Oh, the jump circle.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well.
Yay!
Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle?
Oops.
Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
Oh, well. Trudno. Free a new easy achievement. Infinite hope. It won't end. Ej, to jest actually zajebiste. Tu jest ich merch. Co to jest? The button that says the Aha. A to? Is this quality? The baby is so cool. Co to jest? Co to jest? Co za potwór? Co to jest za potwór? Nowe Czy ktoś chce znam ten dźwięk. Dobra. Ej, ja się teraz czuję jak znowu na Pyrkonie. Nie ma pojęcia gdzie zmierzać najpierw. O! A co tutaj jest? Epilog. A to nie. Dobra, pójdźmy po...
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Dobra, sprawdźmy.
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your
Skąd
name,
wiedziałem,
whatever
no.
name that is. Here, let's have you roleplay as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim. Sleeping and
Okay,
waking
I
as
am
Jim,
Jordan no more, jestem
falling in
Jim.
love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Nope. Ja to... Okej, zanim to nastąpi, to ja może pójdę zapalić światło, bo się robi strasznie ciemno. Oczywiście zapomniałem robić w ogóle... Oczywiście zapomniałem światło zapalić, co jest bardzo fajne. Fajnie. Dobra, clear our minds. Jesteśmy Jimem. Moje wszystkie marzenia legły w gruzach. Mam deprecha wielka, zabawa przednia. Lecimy.
Jim.
Yes, you see? What a thrill, what a rush. That was you.
Okay.
The button described you. Do it again.
Jim.
It hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Jim.
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much Jim. I'm putting the Jim button away. Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
Wszyscy wiemy, jak to się skończyło w oryginalnej przypowieści o Staśku. Zejście po schodach na dół. Ci, co by dowiedzieli, to
I
będą
suppose I
wiedzieli.
could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Okej. Wiadro sobie zostawię na koniec, ponieważ coś czuję, że z nim będzie dziwnie. Please no żadnych screenshotów. Zaraz, tu będzie... No, halo! Co to jest?
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm
Oh.
undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
To jest fajniejsze, podoba mi się
You
bardziej.
know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get Well Someday it is.
Okej. Da się z tym żyć. Okej, fine with me. Okej, to jest tylko zwykłe
Or
pudełko.
actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision, we're moving on.
Poważnie stary? Okej. What suits you best? To co, idziemy do nieskończonej dziury. Tak? Nieskończona dziura it is.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
W sensie nie żeby coś, zajebiście, tylko jak ja się potem z niej wydostanę, jak będę chciał zwiedzić więcej rzeczy? Pomyślałeś o tym? Ja wiem, że ty z mądrością to ty czasami nie grzeszysz, a czasami grzeszysz. Aż za bardzo, ale ja to chcę robić. Dobra, jebać.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
Okej, wybrnęli z tego. Dobrze.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
O, to się bardziej oddala, czy... Dobra, a poczekamy, spadnijmy sobie, zobaczymy.
Okay, Stanley. I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole.
Wiedziałem,
Is
że
it
ma
a
dno.
very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity.
A
From
patrzcie,
one perspective,
dno.
the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat and you're so clever. Look,
To mnie
I
przestraszyło
think the
trochę.
issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the whole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then
meeting
go
at 2
ahead and
p.m.
press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
Try the two of us, we can make it if we try, just the two of us, just the two of us. Every pause button is in Roman numeral 2. I faktycznie. Dobra.
Great.
Teleport.
Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
Jestem ciekaw, co by się stało, gdyby gdyby wszedł tu jeszcze raz. Okej, mam nadzieję, że to pozostanie otwarte. Przez to będę mógł... Przez to będę mógł... tu jeszcze raz wrócić i sobie jeszcze raz pospadać. To by było strasznie ciekawe. O. Nice. Okej, tu są collectibles. Tutaj jest free and easy achievement. Get yours right now. It just works. Zobaczmy
Now
ten.
here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that.
Poważnie?
Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we
dawać mi
hear
to!
you, and I promise it will happen.
No dajcie mi to, kuźwa! No patrzcie jak świnie. Zostałem oszukany! Zostałem strollowany! Znowu! Przez The Stanley Parable, co jest... co nie jest niczym szokującym, bo ta gra to jeden wielki troll.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
No właśnie się zastanawiam. Daj mi pomyśleć. Znaczy ja nie byłem na górze? Czy to jest po prostu inne wejście na... O, tu jest wejście na... O, i tam jest jeszcze wejście wyżej. A, chodź. Co tam jest? Okej, nie mogę tam wyjść, to nie. Okej, tam byłem, tu byłem, tam też byłem. Tam też byłem. Tam jeszcze jest merch. To jeszcze... na SZCZŻ... Zmienili to. No to co? To... jeszcze przejdziemy tutaj. Pójdziemy do merchu, a potem... czas na wiadro. To już... dziwne wiadro. Epilog.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Ej, ja bym serio chciał zobaczyć, jakby oni zrobili, jakby wyglądał epilog tego prawdziwego zakończenia, w którym słuchamy cały czas narratora, w którym Stanley wychodzi z tego miejsca. Ciekawy bym był, jakby to wyglądało. Not gonna lie. Halo? Ej, to jest pomysł, to jest zajebisty pomysł na merch właściwie. Widziałem nowy content. The end is never the end. Ten t-shirt to najlepsza nowy dodatek. Kurde, będę sobie musiał obczaić ten merch. O! A nie, tu też byłem. Tu też byłem. No to czas na wiadro. Zobaczmy, czemu jest na 50 miniaturkach. I zobaczmy, co jest
Was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true.
To jest zwykłe
As you
wiadro.
roll onto the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the
Dlatego jestem świadom,
give it a try.
że jesteś w stanie to zrobić zamiast actually poprawić grę, bo... Who cares? Dobra, zobaczmy to wiadro.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more awaits you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Sure, Jen. Reassurance bucket, okej, czyli na chuj mi to wiadro! Na chuj mi to wiadro! Koleś!
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Pewnie, stary, pewnie. Lower level? Jestem tutaj. Okej, to free achievement, this map, jump circle, merge settings, Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket, Office Decorations. Okej, czyli byliśmy już wszędzie. Tak zakładam. Wyjście. O, tu jest wyjście?
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to?
No,
Ready to move
actually.
on now?
No, actually tak. O. To mi przypomina coś. To mi przypomina jakiś plakat z gry wideo. Tylko nie pamiętam jaki.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work.
To jest
There's
wyjście?
definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience.
Okej. Mogę usiąść, bo ja chcę...
Okay. Are you ready? Here
Chcę
it is.
usiąść.
I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Oh.
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on, let me do a different arrangement. Yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game.
Serio?
Would it possibly work? I suppose it could,
Serio?
but it would need a really
Całe to
tremendous
pierdolenie
title
tylko
screen.
po to, żeby
A
zrobić
title
dokładnie
screen that
to,
says
za
with
czym był
bold and
przeciwko.
uncompromising conviction, this is the Stanley Parable
Co?
2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
O! Ej, okej, to jest... Ej, okej, ale to jest zajebiste w sumie. To menu jest zajebiste. I muzyka mi się podoba. Ale zaraz, czy on naprawdę zbudował to wszystko, a potem zrobił dokładnie to samo, za czym był przeciw? Czyli zrobił po prostu grę? W sensie wziął oryginalną grę i pododawał do niej tylko? Narrator to jest w ogóle jakiś inny byt. To jest jakaś inna istota. Nie. On jest ucieleśnieniem Never let them know your next move. What?
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Zobaczmy, czy...
Stanley worked for a company in a big building.
Zobaczymy, czy się
where
coś
he was
zmieni. Okej, widzę, że so far tylko
All of
balony
his co-workers were gone.
są.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
O,
Stanley picked up the bucket.
wiadro? O, czyli okej, czyli to wiadro zakładam będzie powracać.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I znowu jestem rozdarty, bo mogło się coś pozmieniać. Jebać.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Jebać, już tam byłem.
Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Tak,
And
ładne
here it
jest.
was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was
Yes.
this better than the meeting room? Yes,
Yes.
Stanley. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
A, no tak, jest
Stanley took the door on
zapierdalam
his
szybko.
left to go back to the meeting room.
Lol, nie. Ej, zobaczmy, co się stanie, Bo...
No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Kurwa, uwielbiam tego aktora głosowego. Nie spadaj. Proszę cię. Ja chcę, bo pamiętam, że w oryginalnym The Stanley Parable jedną z takich najbardziej intens zakończeń jest to, kiedy odłączymy telefon od prądu. Zobaczmy, co się stanie.
Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have
Kurde,
alarmed him,
chciałbym
of course,
teraz tam
because
pójść
buckets
jeszcze
can't
raz.
talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he
Dobra,
unthinkingly
byłem
did
już tam,
whatever the
pójdziemy
bucket
tam kiedy
asked.
indziej. Jeszcze raz, z wiadrem, zobaczmy.
In
Zobaczmy, co
here.
się...
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Okej, no to już nie ma powrotu, myślałem, że to będzie telefon. Oj, halo? Halo?
Now
Oh.
pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
Dzień dobry? Halo? Garnki sprzedaję.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then,
What?
very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Co jest grane? Mam własną kuchnię. O, jeez. Halo. Gdzie moje wiadro? No. O, tu jesteś. Hello, Stanley. It's time. Your bucket. Take me to work with you.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Tak samo jak ty właściwie. Take me back home with you.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something
Stary,
to him, but I
ty mi
don't
go
know how I
dałeś.
can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Stary, ty mi go dałeś, więc wiesz, wszystkie moje problemy psychiczne to jest twoja sprawa, wiesz? Wiesz?
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Słuchaj. Gdybym miał stąd jakieś inne wyjście, to już dawno bym olał to wiadro w pizdu. Poza tym mówię, sam mi go dałeś, więc jakiekolwiek problemy psychiczne, które dostanę po tym wiadrze, to jest tylko i wyłącznie twoja wina. Pan 6, że to ja wziąłem to wiadro. Ale nieważne, to wciąż twoja wina. Don't listen to the loud man. No to kiedy Narator i wiadro zawalczą na Fame MMA? To by była chyba jedyna walka na Fame MMA, którą actually bym się interesował. W sensie nie no disrespect to Fame MMA, ale...
He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to.
Ktoś tu
Now
się
all he
robi
cares about is his
zazdrosny.
awful bucket. This
Ktoś tu
stupid
się
hunk of
robi
metal.
jealous! Dobrze. Okej, to jest trochę morbid, ale sure, let's go.
It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From
Yeah.
now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
Oho! Oho! Narrator zaczyna pękać i narrator też zaczyna mi się podobać to wiadro.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket.
Okej,
It's just a little
narrator
more,
też
what am I trying
pęka.
to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
To let's go!
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Słuchaj, narrator, wiadro ma nas w szachach. Wiadro ma nad nami kontrolę. Weź mi, przydaj się na coś, no. Pomóż mi. Pomocy!
No, I'm having feelings for the bucket. No, 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 no. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less
te
confusing.
miniaturki!
Yes, the bucket could tell
stąd
me
te
what to do
miniaturki.
in this troublesome situation.
Lecimy! Roll 34, let's go! W sumie chuj, pewnie już dawno istnieje zasada 34 związana chyba z wiadrem. To internet.
Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket,
Ah,
Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or I'll...
Spierdalaj, moje. Wracaj do pracy, Stanley. A? To tyle?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
To
Stanley
tyle?
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
O nie. Czy ja chcę to znowu robić? Jasne, że chcę.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
Okej, zobaczmy.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and
O,
entered the
okej,
door.
zanim skończymy ten odcinek, to chcę jeszcze sprawdzić. Zaraz, może to wiadro sprawia... Okej, może jak nie weźmiemy wiadra, to dostaniemy normalne zakończenia, ale jak jesteśmy z wiadrem, to te zakończenia mają nową wersję. To jest mają dwie wersje. Jest normalna wersja z
Stanley
zakończeniem.
needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office
Okej,
was
sprawdzimy.
where he'd coming to a staircase. Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Okej, więc oryginalnie, kiedy zeszliśmy w dół, pokoje się powtarzały, Stanley'emu odbiebało i na tym się skończyło, więc sprawdźmy, czy teraz będzie podobnie. O, figurka.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Not gonna lie, chciałbym mieć taką figurkę w prawdziwym życiu. Ej, jak oni zrobią figurkę Stanleya, to właśnie w prawdziwym życiu, instabuy. Nieważne, że nie mam pieniędzy. Wanerkę sprzedam, żeby mieć tą figurkę.
He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley.
Aha, powtarzają się.
He thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Zobaczmy,
He
czy
looked
to
down
jest
at
to
the
samo
bucket in his
zakończenie.
arms. Am I
Czy...
crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought.
Okej,
Usually the
powtarzają
bucket
się.
is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong.
Okay.
Surely no good would come from this.
gdzie on
Who
jest?
knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd.
No widzę, że się
Now
powtarzają.
he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh,
Ah.
gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him. Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
Mogę biegać?
He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Okej, to jest jazda.
Stanley! Find me! He had to find the bucket. He had to
Czemu
return
się
to his old
zatrzymuje
friend. It was the
randomowo?
only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along.
What?
It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
Jakim cudem? Jak?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Mariela, no w końcu!
Mariella
Wiedziałem.
woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security,
Okay,
and walked to her place
okay.
of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work. For
Moje
which her
ulubione
bucket
zakończenie.
would
Nie wiem
provide
dlaczego.
absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself,
Okay.
my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
Backflipped! To jest dobre. Okej, ludzie. Starczy mi na razie. Jak widzę, to te zakończenia są dwa. Są dwa wersje zakończenia. Normalne zakończenie, jak nie weźmiemy wiadra. I druga wersja zakończenia, która jest jak weźmiemy wiadro, więc...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Więc w następnym odcinku sprawdzimy te zakończenia, które już mieliśmy, plus te, których jeszcze nie zrobiliśmy. Ale nie wiem, które z wiadrem, a które bez wiadra, bo widzę, że jak weźmiemy wiadro, to wiadro trochę wpływa na zakończenie. Więc no, to by było na tyle w tym odcinku. W następnym odcinku pojedziemy sobie kilka zakończeń. To tyle. Trzymajcie się i do zobaczenia w kolejnym odcinku z The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. W końcu wiem, o co chodzi z tym pierdolonym wiadrem. Cześć!